we're going to talk about Sagittarius, and we're going to talk about a card that I love because it is connected to Sagittarius, and that is Temperance. Now, I love Temperance, whether it's connected to Sagittarius or not, but like anything in this world, often we best understand things through our own lenses, right? So I have found that connecting to certain cards is easier in the tarot simply because I can see myself very strongly in those cards. Temperance is Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius rising, so I can really understand and feel that flavor because I know me and I understand what Sagittarius energy is, and so Temperance energy feels very familiar to me. The same with the Hierophant. The Hierophant is my soul card. That is a card that I am connected to via my birthday. And so I have very strong connection to the Hierophant. So if you are finding yourself having trouble connecting into a particular card, if you learn what your soul card is, if you learn which cards are connected to you astrologically, it can really help you see that connection to the tarot and start understanding how you can embody the tarot. And it's just another fantastic tip for you. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So, our card for Sagittarius season, which started on November 21st, is Temperance. Now, with Temperance, if we look at it in the line of what's going on, we just left Scorpio season. Congratulations, you survived. Which is our death card, right? I talked a lot about death over the past month because that's the season we were in. And after you clear out, we have the sun. The sun is in the background of the death card too. And we've got the sun in the background up a little bit higher than it had been in the death card. It is in fact rising. We are seeing a new day dawn. And we're seeing the path that's leading to that sun in the background, right? So after dying, after clearing out that space, we now have the opportunity to make miracles happen. But we couldn't do that before when all that stuff was there. So now we're in the season of miracles. We're in the season of what can you have happen? However, if we look closely at Temperance, and this is the thing to keep in mind whenever we are manifesting anything, whenever we want to bring miracles. So Temperance has one foot, the angel has one foot in the water, and that is our intuition, that's our emotional intelligence, that is the dream state, okay? That's the water element. But we have one foot on the ground too. So when we are making miracles happen, we still have to understand that we're here on this earth, physical location. Miracles can happen. They do happen. They are bound to happen. You have to know that they're going to happen and ask them to happen and will them to happen and trust that they will happen. But they're happening here on earth in your physical realm. And that is where the balance comes in. And now we talked about balance when we talked about Justice card, right? So we talked about balance and the idea of like not all things have to be, we don't have to have equal measures of things. We just have to have it in a way that balances each other out, right? Have equal numbers. We have to have equal weight. Temperance is about balance of all of the elements in our life to be in a state where we know we are here where we are, but we also can bring that magic down into play. So we remember the fact that our major arcana is a lesson of timeline of journey, right? So we start our journey off with the Magician, and the Magician is that reminder that our dreams can come to reality because we have the tools. Our dreams can come into the world because we have the tools to actually create it. Nothing gets made in this world without it being a dream first. You have to think it in your mind. It has to be some sort of cosmic divine download thought in your mind before you can create it. The Wright brothers dreamt of flying and determined that they were going to make what needed to happen so they could fly, right? You had to dream it first and then create it. Now, Temperance, we're now 14 cards in. Okay, we've traveled a lot. We've assessed values, we've had mini ego deaths, we've learned balance, we've learned what our strengths are. We are now reminding ourselves we have the space to create miracles. We're back to that dream. What was that dream at the beginning, and how can we make it happen? Okay, and so that's what Sagittarius is tied to, is this Temperance card. So this is a time where you can tap into this idea of what miracles are able to be happening. Where is my focus? I know that I'm bringing it down here on earth, but also I have to trust that the miracle can happen. Otherwise, life's really boring. And if you're somebody who does not want to believe in miracles, or logically thinks that miracles are very challenging to actually happen, that's fine. You do you. But if you don't believe in miracles, then you're not leaving the space, or believe that miracles could possibly happen, then you're not leaving the space in your life for miracles to potentially happen, right? And so, Temperance is that reminder. You still need to be here in the earth making things happen. You need to do steps along the way, right? Just like our magician has the tools. They have to build the thing, even if they have the cosmic dream and download. Temperance is reminding us we still have to walk the path on this earth that we're set forth on. However, if we leave space open for potential miracles to happen, we can make that transition of we shed things, we ended this cycle so that we can start a new cycle, and now we are going to make that cycle happen. We are going to make that miracle happen. We're going to check on what's going on and ensure that we can do it. In Temperance, Temperance has 2 cups in their hands. The water is flowing between the cups. If you look at some of the history and learnings of the card, there it is stated that the water is actually flowing from the bottom cup to the top cup. So that is the miracle portion of this. Plus we have an angel, also a big deal, right? So the idea of this is that, like, hey, I have these 2 cups and I'm going to flow from one thing to the other. I have this possibility and this possibility. I'm going to make it happen. I just made this connection. There is a manifestation technique out there, and you could try this out. It actually might be a great thing to try during Sagittarius season, during Temperance season. It's called the 2 cups method. And the idea is that you write where you are right now in the world on 1 cup. So you're saying, I have a newer podcast on YouTube that doesn't have a lot of viewers, so that's my current reality. That's in 1 cup. And then you write on the other cup, I am a YouTuber who gets promoted out to the world, and my podcast is viewed by thousands of people, and I'm getting paid to talk into microphones. Okay? You write that on the 2nd cup. You then take and pour water into the 1st cup that said, this is my current reality. And then you pour the water into the 2nd cup, and you just envision the fact that you're moving from one reality to the other, and then you let it be. And then you do all your steps along the way, knowing that you made the energetic decision to go from 1 cup to the other. And so Temperance very much has this 2 cup feeling to it. It has 2 cups on it. It has the path showing you're still making steps to walk into that new reality, but you're making that choice to go from this is one dream, this is my current situation, this is where I am, this is my new dream, and I am flowing into that space. So something to try out and to think about when it comes to Sagittarius season, and to really like feed into what does this mean and how does this mean and what could we do. Other things to look at on the card, I talked about colors in my last episode, if you want to watch that, if you haven't already. So we've got lots of green. Green is our heart space. So we're really feeling into what it is that we are loving in our new situation. Miracles come through that heart-led determination of it's going to happen. Okay, we have irises. Irises are connected to rebirth, and they're connected to rainbows. And so, you know, that moment when everything seems to come together and we get that vision in the sky. Think of the 10 of cups, right? So suddenly all that we're dreaming of is becoming reality, okay? We've got our brown path, we've got red wings on the angel. So we've got our rooted groundedness. We know that we have the power and the strength that we need. We know that we can make this happen. We have yellow. We've got yellow in the sun, yellow in the cups, yellow in the hair. So we have lots of showing up and shining bright out of our solar plexus space, right? So there is this connection where as long as we stand firm in who we are, we stay rooted and grounded to our truth of who we are, then we can make those dreams and those miracles happen. And it is amazing. And being a Sagittarius rising, I understand this desire of what else is out there. What new exciting thing could happen? What miracles could unfold? Where do other people talk about miracles? How does it happen? Why does it happen? So this is also a fun time of the year if you're curious about trying to tap into more miracles and manifestation. Why not? Why not try? Why not consider it? Try out the 2 cups method. Let me know how it goes. Shout out to Jessa Reed. That's where I learned about the 2 cup manifestation method a few years ago, and I love it. And I felt bad not saying that that's where I learned it from, because you should shout out your teachers. So that's the energy we're in. Sagittarius, Temperance energy. Sit with the card for the month. Really try to understand it, feel it, see what you think about it. Feel free, if you've got a deck, pull the card out and just sit for a little bit. Ask it what it has to offer you. See what happens. Now, I decided to start a TikTok because I wanted to talk more into my phones, and I could not wrap my head around talking for 15 to 30 minutes, multiple days a week. I'm sure that I could do it. But it felt overwhelming. So what do we do when we feel overwhelmed but we want to make shifts? We make small steps. So we take baby steps. So TikTok is a wonderful baby step option because I just have to do a 7-second to 30-second to maybe a minute long video. I'm done. And it feels like a great exploration, which is nice. But on TikTok, I decided that I'm going to start really talking about learning how to read tarot. I love this podcast for talking about the current season and then a certain topic or theme or whatever's on my mind and talking about that for 15 minutes to half hour. It's great. TikTok, short attention, small bits of information that will then lead to hopefully coming and seeing this. But it felt like the right space to start talking about tarot basics. So I'm doing a Tarot 101 series there. And I'm having fun with it. And I'm realizing that it's a fun opportunity to kind of talk about these things. Now, what I started with is the fact that when you pick up a tarot deck, sometimes if you're new and you're just learning, it feels overwhelming. I love tarot because I now touch on so many different things. Astrology, colors, numerology, storytelling, how all the cards relate to each other one after the other. I did not start there. Just gonna let you know. I didn't start there. I started with a single card tarot pull once a day after I meditated. I meditated for at least 10 minutes, and then at the end of meditation, I would pull a tarot card and journal. That's where I started. And when I decided that I wanted to actually learn the meanings of the cards and learn them in a way that stuck in my brain so that I did not have to go to the book or the resources all the time. And there's nothing wrong with going to the book and seeing what it means. There's nothing wrong with using your intuition. For me, tarot is a language that is very precise and specific based on the original creators of the decks. It's very much tied to classic esoteric knowledge, and that mattered to me to learn that. And I do know when I look at, based on who I was learning from, different podcasts I was listening to, different, resources I would go to, and then my own readings over time, there are definitely things that I might do differently than a different tarot reader, than another tarot reader. Some tarot readers are very much about prediction. Some tarot readers are very much about connecting to God. Some tarot readers have a lot of like outside, what's going on in the world outside of you. Me, I had been learning so much information about our own internal wisdom that we have inside of us ahead of learning tarot. I had been reading yogic texts. I had started my meditation journey. I had participated in things about being your own guru, right? You have the universe inside of you, right? I can only affect myself when I make changes. My only thing that I can impact directly is my own actions. I have no control over other people's actions. I only have control over my own actions, right? And when I started reading tarot, that is the mindset I was in already. That was my focus. That was where I was putting my energy into, was understanding myself and the impacts I had on the universe and the world around me, by changing things within me and seeing how that rippled out. So for me, as I learned tarot, every card related back to myself. Every card had to do with internal things that I could control, never external things that I couldn't control, right? The place that this showed up the most for me was when it came to court cards. When it comes to court cards, I would see in my different resources as I was learning, people talk about like, oh, a king means that a benefactor might be coming your way who's very good with creativity and they're going to help guide you. And that didn't feel right to me because I had no control over whether this benefactor came in or not. And I didn't want to sit around and wait for a benefactor to come in. So instead, when I was looking at the court cards, I would see it and I'd go, oh, where is my leadership within myself? Where do I need to step up into leadership? Oh, today is the day where I show the world that I am a creative badass. Cool. Let me do that. Okay. I have control over that. I'm scared to step into my power sometimes, maybe, but then the tarot's like, here's your little nudge. It's time to be the leader. Cool. I guess I'll work on doing that. Okay. And so that mattered to me, doing it that way. Occasionally there are cards where there is the suggestion to reach out to others in my now personal readings as I've learned more and more, as I've spent more time with the cards. So like when the Three of Pentacles show up, I think of that as a mentorship card. Sometimes it's that you're mentoring someone else, but often it's like, hey, have you reached out to your mentor? Have you found a mentor recently? Is there somebody that you can learn what you're trying to learn from? And still that's on you. That's still on me to go find that person, to go talk to that person, to go be in space, whether that's physical or digital or just reading from information a person has, where I am in their space learning from them, right? But I have to be willing to go out and do it. The Two of Cups is kind of similar in the sense that it's partnership. So it's like, who are you sharing your dreams with? Who are you exchanging ideas with? Who can you share your emotions with? And the same with the Three of Cups. They come into other people, but it's not like those other people have to come to you. It's like, hey, if you're feeling down today, the Three of Cups is suggesting that you go out and be in community with people who you can share your dreams with and your hopes with and you can have fun with, right? It's still on me. And so I really prefer to read tarot that way. It really does help bring that focus into what can we control, because we can only control ourselves. And then that makes tarot a tool to understand you and to understand what you can do to help yourself, what you can do to make the most of the situation, what you can do to get through something that feels challenging or stuck or whatever. It's still within you. That's why when I look at the Devil card, the limitations of the Devil card are not outside limitations. they're self-imposed limitations, right? Everything ties back to you. And it doesn't tie back to us so that we can be rugged individualists. It ties back to us because when we are in our proper vibes, when we are in our lane doing our thing the way that is right for us, we then can reach out and be in communion with other people who are also in their vibes, doing their thing the way they're supposed to. And then we can mesh properly together because we are honoring and uplifting each other in the way that is right for us, in our right energy. I am not going to force somebody else to be their version that I need them to be. They're going to be them, and I'm going to be me, and we're going to figure out how to support each other together, right? We only have impact on ourselves, which is really helpful to know, and then we can help other people. We can be the shift and the change that we want to see in the world that then lets other people know that they can also be a part of this shift and change. Okay. And so for me, tarot, just like I was saying, I can tap into it easier when I think about the cards that are mine. When I know that I am what my soul card was, I dove so hard into learning more about my soul card and what does it mean, and going through the different things that people said about that card and how did they describe that card and where do I see that reflection in myself and how does that work and where can I make a shift in that? And then, and I'm still learning. And then I've now added astrology into a lot of my tarot understandings. And then it's like, okay, well, where does that sit in my chart? And how does that impact this? And it just gives me that connection to my tarot card where I'm like, oh, this is my card. Oh, this means this. Oh, I can see that in me. And now I can see how I am the card. Okay. And I can see how I am the tarot. And I am learning all of the lessons in this. Sagittarius is my rising sign. We're in Temperance season. I understand the desire to find and seek out miracles and inner wisdom and outer wisdom and all of these things. And so then it gives me a better understanding of Temperance, a card that sometimes can be a little bit baffling because like, what do you mean miracles exist? Well, they do. And how? And where can I see examples of that? And how many stories can I read? And what does that really look like? Right? And so you are the tarot if you allow yourself the chance to see how your inner world is reflected on these cards. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. And I was pretty sure that I was going to go a completely different way with the second half of this episode. But this felt very important, apparently. So this is what we're talking about. And this is where I wanted to be. And that felt nice. Let's pull a card. And I will say, I love pulling cards for people, and I enjoy pulling cards for the collective. I don't do it very many places except for really, I think right now the only place I pull a card for the collective is here on my podcast once a week because it's effective in the sense that you get to see me read a card and you get to take this energy and do with it what you will and see how it connects you and all that. But I love personal readings so much more than general collective readings. And so I have kind of slowly phased away from doing a more general collective reading because it doesn't feel as exciting and potent to me. And so that's why there's a lot more focus for me in my TikTok on teaching tarot, because I really love for people to know how to do this for themselves if they want to, because I think finding a way to tap into your own energy is really important, and that tarot can be a beautiful tool for that. That's why I'm here. That's where I started. And so this is really the only place I'm doing collective readings right now. And it is only one card, but the joyful thing about that is that you get to take this information and then sit with it for the week and kind of see where it can go. So, how can we tap into miracles this week? That is going to be our question because we are fresh in Sagittarius season and we're looking for those miracles. So, how can we tap into miracles this week? the Two of Cups. And I smile because I talked about the Two of Cups earlier. And I actually just came across somebody's TikTok where they were talking about this. So, not the Two of Cups, but what I'm going to tell you now. The Two of Cups is making sure that your dreams get shared with others. If we're expecting miracles, we have to be willing to say that we want to accept a miracle into our lives. We have to actually speak it out into the world. And even if it's just with one person, it is helpful to share that dream out with a trusted person so that we are acknowledging the fact that we want this thing to happen. Okay? So the Two of Cups this week, take some time to think about what miracles, what dreams, what big possibilities you want to see happen in the world and share it with someone you trust. Now, I know there's a lot of conversation out there about don't tell your dreams to the haters, essentially, which I understand. Because sometimes if you tell your dreams to someone and then they are like, how's that going to happen? Right? Then you get that feeling reflected back to you and that doesn't feel good. So this week, the reason why it's on the two, it's trusted, the people we trust to share and see our vision and be with us and love that for us. That's the person you're going to talk to this week. This week, you're going to share your dreams with someone who you know will reflect back the joy and excitement and possibility to you so that you can keep dreaming big and see those miracles as they show up in the world around you. Thank you for joining me today on Magical Reawakening Radio. I have multiple episodes. If this is your first time here, go ahead and go back and watch some of the old ones. They will be based on the whenever it happens, but there's a lot of juicy tidbits in there. Nothing is really tied to, that time specifically. If you would give me a follow and like this, you will be notified when a new episode drops. I tend to drop them on Fridays, but sometimes they drop a little bit early. Sometimes I do a bonus episode if I'm feeling chatty. So if you follow along, you'll be able to see that. I have some learning tarot tools in my Etsy shop. I will link that below in the caption so that you can see what I've got. I have a tarot starter pack where you can get your how are you doing this when you first start off your tarot reading. I have single card prompts and I have a soul card workbook. So all of those things will help you get deeper into learning tarot and learning about yourself through tarot. And keep an eye out for other exciting things I have going on. Feel free to join me on TikTok if that's someplace you love hanging out, and I will see you later. Bye for now.